Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, I have some bonus content for you guys. The bonus content we'll be covering today will be in football and the NFL world. If you guys haven't checked out, episode 97 is now available on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So if you have not watched or listened to the latest episode of On the Hot Podcast, you can check it out on all four of those platforms. But in this bonus content video for you guys today, I'll be sharing my 2022 NFL redraft. I'll be having my top 5 selections if a redraft were to take place today from the 2022 NFL draft. So all players are eligible that were a part of that draft class last year, and selecting the top 5 selections in this NFL redraft. So let's start off with number 1, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who did have the number 1 overall pick last year. In my redraft, I would have the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting cornerback Sauce Gardner. I do believe that currently, right now, Sauce Gardner is the best player from this draft class. Definitely, without a doubt, the best defensive player in this draft class. And when you look at the names, he's going to go down. I do believe that he's going to go down as the best draft pick from this NFL draft. So currently, I do believe that Sauce Gardner is a top 5 corner in the NFL. Last year, he had a strong rookie season, finishing with 20 pass deflections and 1 Defensive Rookie of the Year in impressive fashion last year. I already gave him the nickname of the next up-and-coming Darrelle Revis out there in New York in a New York Jets uniform. Last year, I do believe that Sauce Gardner was the second best corner in the National Football League behind Patrick Surtain. That's how special Sauce Gardner was during his rookie season. I'm excited to see his game be taken to new heights and new levels as his career builds on. But Sauce Gardner would definitely be the number 1 overall pick if a redraft were to happen today. And then second overall, with the Detroit Lions on the clock, second overall pick would be Aiden Hutchinson, the guy they selected last year, second overall. I do believe that they would again draft Aiden Hutchinson if a redraft were to take place. Aiden Hutchinson had a huge rookie season coming from Michigan. He had 52 tackles, 9.5 sacks with 29 pressures, and had 3 interceptions as a edge rusher last year. I do believe that Aiden Hutchinson will be a true cornerstone piece for the Detroit Lions as they build together this young core on their quest to becoming one of the best teams in the NFL. They do have a bright future, and I do believe that Aiden Hutchinson will be leading the way with this young, talented Detroit Lions team on their quest to be one of the best teams in the NFL one day. At number 3, the Houston Texans are on the clock. And I have them selecting the guy that went number 1 overall in this past NFL draft, Trayvon Walker. And when you think about it, the 2 best defensive players on this draft, they're taken off the board. When you have Sauce Gardner and Aiden Hutchinson taken off the board, the Texans would not pass up on an edge rusher. It's hard to pass up on talented edge rushers nowadays in the NFL draft, and I don't think the Houston Texans would do that in this redraft. Last season, Trayvon Walker had 49 tackles, 3.5 sacks, and 21 pressures with the Jacksonville Jaguars last season. I do believe that he would be a great edge rusher for this franchise, something that the team lacks and something that this Houston Texans team has not had since J.J. Watt and Javon Clowney were a part of the Houston Texans. So definitely, if a redraft were to take place, Trayvon Walker would be a definite edge rusher that the Houston Texans have been lacking over the last few seasons. At number 4, with the New York Jets on the clock, I have them selecting cornerback. But last year it was Sauce Gardner who selected 4th overall because Devin Stingley went a pick ahead of Sauce Gardner. And tables have turned. I would have the New York Jets selecting Devin Stingley 4th overall. With Sauce Gardner off the board, the New York Jets would still need a cornerback because that was one of their biggest needs heading into the NFL draft last year. And Devin Stingley was the second best defensive back coming from this draft class at the time. So I have Devin Stingley going 4th overall to the New York Jets. Stingley missed half. Devin Stingley still has a lot to prove in the NFL. He missed half of the season due to an injury, but when he bounced back from his injury, was on the field for the Houston Texans. He still contributed to 43 tackles and had 5 defensive passes during his rookie season, and he also did not allow a touchdown during the NFL last year's NFL season. So that's definitely a strong outing for Devin Stingley. The injury was a factor for him heading into the draft. Hopefully, he can stay healthy for the sake of his NFL future. Devin Stingley, I do believe, has a bright future. He would be 4th overall in my redraft. And with the final pick in my redraft at number 5 overall for the New York Giants, I still have them selecting the guy that they picked 5th overall in this past draft, and that would be edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau. The New York Giants would still definitely take this guy off the board. He had a lot of potential coming out of Oregon, and he showed just that his rookie season with the New York Giants. Towards the end of the season, he had 35 tackles, 3 sacks, and a defensive touchdown just in the second half of the NFL season. That shows you how great of a player that Kayvon Thibodeau could be one day in the NFL. And it's scary for me being a Dallas Cowboys fan because it could be the next Jason Pierre-Paul out there for the New York Giants. This guy has a lot of talent to bring to the table, and he could be an absolute threat one day on the defensive line for the New York Giants. And he also showed me how great of a player he can be one day. He tapped in his potential. In my opinion, this was the best game that he had so far in his young NFL career. It was Week 15 in a divisional matchup against the Washington Commanders. They played on the road in D.C. that night on a Sunday night football game that went down to the wire, and Kayvon Thibodeau showed up for the occasion. He had 12 tackles and a sack. That showed me how much grit and determination he can have as a player one day and step up for being a huge cornerstone for the New York Giants and the forsake of the future. But that is my 2022 NFL redraft for the top five selections. That is all the time I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. This is your host, Tom Tyree, signing off, and I'll see you guys on next week's episode.